So I received my undergrad in accounting from Virginia Tech back in 2013. And then I'm from the Baltimore area, so I moved back home and I worked for a small industrial supply company, doing their books, managing payables, receivables. I'll call it a controllership type position, but it was very basic, kind of just managing payroll, getting funds in the door and everything. So I learned a lot just about general bookkeeping, keeping track of vendors, paying people on time, getting cash receipts in the door, managing, making sure we had enough money to pay people at the end of the week. So I really learned a lot. However, I wanted to get the extra credits needed for the CPA and pursue the CPA license. So back in 2014, I went back to grad school at Towson University, and I went for the Masters of Accounting and Business Advisory Services. It's a program that worked out great with my schedule because it was primarily during nights and online classes as well. So worked out really well. I had a great experience at Towson University. I'm really involved in a lot of their alumni programs as well, and I speak to a lot of different accounting classes and do a lot of alumni events with their School of Business as well. Then in early 2015, I took a job with GRF CPAs and Advisors in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside of DC. And I began work there as an audit associate, auditing primarily nonprofit entities, things like charitable organizations, membership organizations, non-government organizations, NGOs, international type organizations like that. And one really unique part about GRF CPAs and Advisors is the opportunity to travel domestically and internationally. So I had a ton of fun traveling to a lot of different continents, Africa, the Middle East, Europe, a lot of great experiences going abroad and auditing different nonprofit entities. Usually they were US-based entities with some type of international presence, so they would want a US audit team to go over there and look at the books for a week or two and everything, and usually there'd be a lot of great time for travel and learning about the culture of those areas on the weekends and everything.
That's definitely a selling point. I mean, when you think of accountants, you don't think of travel and getting to see the world. You think of them in stuffy offices. So that's great that you got to experience that.
Yeah, definitely. And then in 2021, I took a job with Witham, Smith & Brown. It's a large top 20, 25 firm, primarily based out of New Jersey, but we have an office in Bethesda, Maryland, and we just opened one in Baltimore in August of 2023. And I do a very similar type job where I audit nonprofits, but I also specialize in audits of 401k plans and defined benefit pension plans and labor union related benefit plans as well.
Well, so one thing that I know that you're interested in as well is the pipeline issue of accountants.
Yeah.
There's a shortage of accountants and fewer students are pursuing that major. Do you have any idea why that might be? My perception is maybe it's the hours, the pay related, compared to other professions. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. There is a large perception in college that accounting firms really overwork their staff. And I think there is some merit of truth to that, but every firm is different. So I can't speak for every firm, but there is definitely the perception out there of staff being overworked. There's also the perception that maybe the pay doesn't correspond correctly to what the market is demanding out there as well. The main thing, I think, the main solution to the CPA talent pipeline shortage issue, let's call it, is I think there's not enough current CPAs out there getting involved in different aspects where they can make a difference and really connect with the next generation. I know there's a lot of talk about the 150-hour rule and whether it helps or hinders the pipeline to our profession. And there's a lot of smart people that have different opinions on that. However, I really think it's just so important wherever you are in your CPA career or public accounting career. If you don't have the CPA, it's so important to consider how you can get involved in the industry and really just help, number one, give the industry a good name, but be a good steward of the industry and really get connected with students, and whether it be high school students or college students, and just get them interested, get them informed about the benefits of the CPA profession, the CPA license, and what kind of benefits it offers young people as a career. I have 3 different points I just want to stress about actionable ways on how we in the CPA profession can get involved. So, number 1, get involved with your state board of accountancy. This is the organization that determines your eligibility to be a CPA. They, after you pass the exams, they're the ones that actually gives you the license. And it is just so important for you to understand how that organization works. Look into whatever state you're in. Look into the current board. Look at their meeting minutes. But just, they are important. There's also what's called the NASBA, the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy, that kind of governs and brings together all the different state boards. Here in Maryland, we through my connections at the Maryland Association of CPAs, I already know 2 members of the Maryland State NASBA board, Barrett Young and Tammy Bensky, and it's just great to I can see them at different MACPA events and really get to know them and just hear about what's going on in the industry and just get connected. So that's my number 1 tip. Get involved with your state board of accountancy. Number 2, very similar to that, get involved with your state society of CPAs. It's a different type of organization. So get involved with your state societies of accounting and the national organizations of accounting, things like the AICPA, and if you're in the education industry, the AAA, the American Association of Accounting. That's more geared towards people in the education field. But really just get involved with these organizations because they already have a pipeline program set up to help address the pipeline issues. But they need people to, get involved and to step up in those programs. And, I think there's a small subsection of our industry that does get involved, but not enough people get involved. So that's my second tip. Get involved with your state associations of CPAs, state societies of CPAs, and really just connect with other CPAs around your state and see what other people are doing, and just your state CPAs are they're a great jumping off point to learn different volunteer opportunities around your community about how to promote the CPA industry. But they're just a great resource in general. In Maryland here, we are so blessed to have a great association of CPAs led by Rebecca Olson. And they offer a ton of great events and resources, all geared towards kind of helping CPAs connect with their community. And they really just offer great opportunities to grow the pipeline. So that's my second tip. My last tip is could be the most important one, but get involved with your local accounting education departments, whether that be at your local university, college, or high school. It is so critical to just start that dialogue with professors or administrators with your local universities or high schools, because they want people in the industry, in the CPA, in the public accounting firm industry, or in private industry to just come and talk to their students about the benefits. They're always looking for CPAs out there to come speak to students. And that way you can really just give students firsthand knowledge about the benefits of the industry, how great of a career it is, and you can get in front of them first and foremost and help alleviate a lot of the misconceptions out there about our industry. And just, and find out what students think, why, they might tell you firsthand why they're not that interested in accounting. And it starts a dialogue, which is so important. So those are my 3 tips for kind of just helping to alleviate the CPA talent pipeline shortage by just getting involved in those 3 areas.
I'm going to put you on the spot here and pretend as if you were speaking with some students. And ask you how you could convince them to go into accounting as opposed to maybe tech or finance. I know a lot of students will choose computer science nowadays because they want to go to Silicon Valley and start a startup or something. So why accounting?
So the first thing I tell students is accounting is the language of business. Almost every company needs some type of accounting department, so it's a great way to just get your foot in the door and learn how a business works, learn how it makes money, or sometimes, not all businesses make money, learn how well it performs year after year. And one of the great things about accounting is it gets your foot in the door in an organization that you want to be in, and then from there you can kind of pinpoint where you want to go to. Maybe you want to move to a different department. There's a lot of accountants that move into C-level roles. There's a fair amount that move into maybe like a technical sales role after you have experience with a certain niche. There's a lot that just go into a general operations, a general management kind of role. It opens a ton of doors, but getting the CPA license and just learning the language of business, learning the debits and credits, learning the ins and outs of some type of industry's financial statements is a really just great way to give your career such a strong foundation first and foremost. And then, it opens the door for a lot of different other departments down the line. But if you start out in just sales or HR or just general business management instead of majoring in accounting and getting the CPA, then down the line as you move through your career, your options are a lot more limited because it's a lot more difficult to go back to school for accounting and get the CPA later in life rather than just starting out as an undergrad and getting the accounting degree and CPA as soon as you can and then moving about whatever industry you may choose from there.
Can we go way back to when you were a kid and talk about what you wanted to be? Did you want to be an accountant when you were younger, or did this sort of just happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not really. I wanted to play basketball, I think, first and foremost, but when I stopped growing at 5'11", that dream was shattered. So my next best option was, some type of business, and then my dad always preached to me at a young age that accounting is the language of business. Accounting is a quintessential, business degree. So I was like, all right, let me just go for accounting. It seemed like a good fit. But he always kind of really taught me that, that accounting was crucial to the business world. Growing up, we read books by like Jim Collins, like Good to Great and Built to Last, classic business novels about the great companies of the world. And he always talked about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and just how, great companies were structured and the qualities of great companies. And no matter what, the strong accounting skills and just strong financial management skills of a company was so critical. So, that's kind of what led me into accounting. And I definitely struggled with it the first few years of undergrad. It did not come naturally to me. It took work. Some people, I think it does come a little more natural, but it takes work. There's a lot of different concepts in it. It's not always the most easy to understand subject. I still struggle with it, with different concepts here or there now in my career, but it's always growing. One of the things I love about it, there's always new standards coming out. Recently, there was a brand new standard on leases that completely changed the way leases were recorded, and now there's a brand new standard on credit losses that just came out. So there's always something new in the accounting world and always keeps you on your toes. But it's a very rewarding career for sure.
One thing that I've learned is that you don't have to be a numbers person. You can be a people person like yourself, and you can still succeed in this industry.
Exactly, yeah. I think going in, yes, you have to have a basic command of the numbers and be able to just understand some basic concepts and be able to manipulate Excel and do some basic calculations and kind of I think the key is you have to be able to troubleshoot. No one is going to balance a cash flow statement the first time perfectly with anything they do, but you have to be able to think critically and look at a trial balance and look at a statement of cash flows and balance sheet and income statement and kind of figure out what is driving an error and just be able to kind of troubleshoot and just think critically and think like a problem solver. Think like you're solving a puzzle. And if you can kind of go into it with that kind of positive attitude And if you can't figure it out, then fine. But be able to make strong assumptions and ask logical questions when needed. Then definitely you'll definitely succeed.
Just talking about Excel, can I ask you how good you are at Excel?
I think I used to be pretty good, but nowadays I delegate a lot of that stuff, and I still I still do some basic things. But all you have to do is just kind of be able to manipulate what you need to see. So the more skills you have with Excel, the quicker you'll be able to do things. But also it's good to know other people at your firm that have a lot of skills too, and befriend them. So that's another key. Yeah.
Make friends with the people who can help you. That's
exactly.
Great. Can we talk about AI a little bit?
Sure.
I don't know if you've kept up with it. Probably. But do you think AI could do accounting work? I mean, do you think it could ever do your job?
So that's a great question. I think it already is really taking over a lot of the basic tasks of bookkeeping. There's a great software out there called BotKeeper that does a lot of RPA, robot process automation. And basically, it's already taking the job, the basic tasks of a bookkeeper or an outsourced accountant, and just really automating a lot of the daily tasks associated with that. Whether it be kind of matching invoices to entries to kind of just automatically, save backup support for different journal entries and things like that. So the key is, yes, AI is here to stay, and it will continue to grow and be more prevalent in all of our jobs. And over time, it will take over the basic tasks. However, there's always going to be a need for solving issues and looking into variances and thinking critically in terms of declining trends. If a client's revenue keeps going down or expenses keep going up in a certain area, then AI is going to struggle with analyzing kind of the why and kind of like putting all the pieces together. So that's where, and ultimately AI is going to also struggle with helping clients implement new accounting standards, things like that, just, talking them through things and answering questions. But it is here to stay. It's definitely going to take over the basic tasks. And I think that's a great thing because it's going to leave us more time for critical thinking and for helping clients manage and tackle high-level problems. So I'm kind of welcoming the age of AI. At our firm, we're doing a lot with Microsoft Copilot and really utilizing that in terms of generative AI, building basic draft emails, memos, things like that. It's also a great tool for just asking different questions, regarding standards and things like that. And I also like it for just kind of like bouncing marketing ideas. Like different marketing tasks on LinkedIn, like thinking about a different, a kind of like a brand name for something I'm working on in terms of just marketing material. I think it's great for that. Things that are important but maybe not mission critical.
Are you referring to having ChatGPT write things for you?
Yeah, exactly. The generative AI.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very helpful.
Yeah.
Very time saving. Can we talk about what a day looks like for you? What time you normally get to the office and how long your day is and what you do here. By the way, you have a beautiful office here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So normally I'm a morning person. So normally I try and hit the gym and run a little bit, lift a little bit before work, so I don't have to work. So when I can come home, I'll spend time with my wife. But I usually try and get in the office by 8 or 8:30, and check my email and check the messages from the night before. But the main thing is every day is different in the audit world. I am a meticulous planner. I do try and kind of set out an agenda the day before of what I want to accomplish that day in terms of reviewing audit files, setting up meetings with clients, setting up meetings with audit partners, meetings with staff to answer questions.
Do you visit clients?
Yes. So we definitely did a lot more on-site audits before COVID. We still do a few on-site audits after COVID. So once in a while, I had a client down in downtown DC a few weeks ago. So I took the train down there for 2 or 3 days, and so it's a nice balance between just going to the office versus being on-site at clients. But typically, I'm just going on meetings, with either other employees or clients, helping them work through problems, answering staff questions is a big part of my day, and just helping them grow and helping them, learn new concepts. So that's a big thing. I'm very passionate about helping my next generation of staff grow and succeed, and and have a great career. So that's a huge part of my job as well. I have a few different mentees that I'm really trying to help them grow, and I think that's the gist of it. I also am really passionate about business development and networking. I think it's really critical for CPAs to kind of learn those skills and to get active in their community. So at least try to do it once a week, but try to set aside some time to go to an event and meet some different people around the community and talk to them about what's about their problems, and if I can help or I can refer them to someone else.
Can I ask you how many computer monitors you use?
Sure, yeah. So I have the laptop and then 2 monitors in addition to that, so 3 total. But so I have that at the office, and I have a 3-monitor setup at home when I do work from home, and then I have a portable monitor. So wherever I go to clients, or I usually go to a great co-working space right in downtown Towson, I always bring my second portable monitors too. So wherever I go, I have at least 2 monitors.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of necessary now.
Exactly.
Do you have any advice for anybody? It could be career advice. It could be advice to maybe students who are contemplating this profession, or maybe from one professional to another out there.
Yeah. My number one tip would just, be proactive about your career. Don't, wait for opportunities to come to you. Just go out and seek them and start setting your plan in motion now, and just trying to do all you can, and just take, baby steps toward whatever career you want to do. There's always something you can do now without having to wait for opportunities to come to you. First and foremost, I think no matter what you want to do within the accounting world, the CPA is always a great, the CPA license is always a great foundation and first step, and it's going to open a lot of doors. So definitely first and foremost, really consider committing to that early on in your career. And then also, really consider what type of industry, if you do want to, the next question is, do you want to do audit, tax, or another type of accounting? And now audit or tax are 90% of what's out there, and then there are some definite other opportunities, but there's a ton. The point is, really think about audit, tax, or something else. And if you do tax, I think you're going to be more in the office or just by yourself a lot more. You're still going to be working with a team, but it's going to be a little bit less than compared to audit. Audit is very, very team focused. You're always going to have probably a group of 3 or 4 or 5 people working together, getting the audit done and bouncing questions off each other. So audit is a much more of a team sport. But if you do want to get into audit, really think about what type of client, what type of clients do you want to be around? The DC Baltimore area is very, very not-for-profit heavy, government contracting, that kind of thing. So, if that interests you, by all means, focus on this area. But we do not have a lot of manufacturing, technology, things like that in this area. So if you want that kind of thing, focus on, if you're interested in technology, think about San Francisco or New York or something like that, something like that. If you want to audit the entertainment industry, think about LA. So just, don't lock yourself into one city. The great thing about accounting, there are jobs everywhere across the world. So just be open to different places, and don't feel like you have to lock yourself in and commit to anywhere forever, because there's a ton of great opportunities out there. So just, start fleshing out your passion now, and start taking concrete steps toward that, and I guarantee you'll be successful.
Matthew Keadle, You are a wealth of knowledge. I am just so grateful for all of your help and your willingness to share your experience and your knowledge, and also just being such a friendly person. My pleasure to meet you, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.